of the full committee, and as I mentioned in my opening statement, Mr. Chairman, because of, and you have to make tough choices, but because of your allocation, this subcommittee, your subcommittee was able to make, I think, historic investment in infrastructure. So thank you for that hard work, and we're grateful for that. And with that, we welcome the chairman and for any remarks that he might have.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the time and for your strong leadership of the committee, along with your very able ranking member, Mr. Price of North Carolina. I also want to welcome Secretary Chow to the Appropriations Committee again. Madam Secretary, we look forward to your testimony and to hearing your frank and candid views on a wide range of issues. As I say at every meeting, the power of the purse lies in this building. It is the constitutional duty of Congress to make spending decisions on behalf of the people we represent at home. And Chairman Diaz-Balart and Mr. Price have spent their increased fiscal year 2018 allocation from the CAPS deal wisely on your behalf from that agreement. Furthermore, Ms. Lowy and I look forward to rapidly concluding our work on the fiscal year 19 bills with the same amount of oversight and forethought. The Gateway project is a prime example of the infrastructure investment that will promote greater economic and national security benefits as it affects 20 or more states who use the East Coast rail system and whose passengers and freight depend on this narrow access point in New York and New Jersey known as the Gateway, the Trans-Hudson River tunnels. Madam Secretary, the benefits know the necessity of this project is quite clear. I remain angered by the administration's opposition and very calculated indifference towards the project. And this posture from an administration which claims to be infrastructure-centric is totally unacceptable. Some have suggested that partisan considerations by the White House and some in my own party are at work here. I should hope not. To me, this is a national priority above politics by two states that bore the brunt of September 11, 2011, those terrorist attacks, and more recently, Superstorm Sandy. I remind the committee, I needn't remind the committee, that $900 million Mr. Chairman Diaz-Balart put in the House passed bill this last September was available for other eligible authorized projects around the nation, not just for the Gateway. Sadly, we had an administration fixated on removing it entirely during the budget negotiations, and I was heavily involved in those negotiations. The Gateway project is vital to the Northeast, and it'll be completed sooner or later despite opposition. After all, the Northeast Rail Corridor is the most heavily used passenger line in the entire United States, serving more than 750,000 people every day on more than 2,200 intercity and commuter trains. Quite honestly, I worry about the possibility of a catastrophe in one of those tunnels. So there are potential homeland and national security implications as well. Short-term, and to use your own words, Madam Secretary, into perpetuity. God forbid if one of those tunnels were to fail for any reason. The negative economic and national security implications would ripple across the East Coast and the nation. I repeat, Gateway will be built, if not during your tenure, Madam Secretary, then thereafter. And in closing, may I thank Chairman Diaz-Balart and Mr. Price for providing the needed funds for such projects, not only potentially Gateway, so we can go forward, admittedly with a lesser amount, but nonetheless a strong start. I'm incredibly grateful to the committee for making sure that the money was there for these projects. It's just lesser than we wanted, but I think we've got a good foundation. I yield back the balance of my time.